Right. Good evening, commissioners. Welcome to the March 6th Fair Rent Commission meeting. For our first, I'll present my screen, and our first order of business. I will share my screen as soon as I remember how to do that. I think I'd have enough practice after all these years. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. So I will share the minutes of the previous meeting. One item that I noticed is that from bottom of page 1 on down is that Attorney Liskov's name is misspelled with a C instead of with a K. So I'm going to recommend that that change be made throughout. Other than that, I was not present at the meeting. So if anyone has any other changes that they see on page 1. On page 2. On page 3. So I had 2 questions. One is, I don't know what CGS stands for.
I think he's trying to say Connecticut General Statutes.
Got it. And 2 is that it's hard for me to tell how Ms. Witherspoon was able to second the motion to adjourn, given that Ms. Witherspoon isn't listed as among those in attendance.
That's a tough one.
Good question.
It sounds like maybe she was able to join just in time to be able to second the motion to adjourn, but if so, then I would like her on the attendance list, at least at the time that she joined on the attendance list.
Was that? I think you got that wrong. That was Sissy.
That was Weldon. Yeah,
It was Johnny May who.
That
Johnny
was
May
yeah.
was
That's
unable to
not.
join.
That was Johnny May.
Got it. Then that's who we would like to.
Yeah,
have
it
on the
was stated.
attendance
That
list.
was Weldon. She was on my phone.
Got it.
Okay.
We can have her on the attendance list then.
Yeah, but not Witherspoon.
Okay.
I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. I'm having computer problems.
Hey, Fran. Good to see you.
Good to see you, John.
So then those
Thanks,
parts of the
Brenda.
minutes should be amended as well. Other than that, I'll take a motion.
Oh, I moved that.
Motion.
I second.
All right, I've got Peter with the motion. Thank you, Peter. I've got Fran with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I abstain. 1 abstention.
John,
Sam.
John, who is that on the phone?
It's Peter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
203-849-9835 for the record is Peter Halliday.
Why don't
I'm
you
not-
change it and put his name there?
I'm not able to change and put his name there, but
Okay.
So we're leaving it. All right, we will go to that. So for the record, the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting passes, and we'll go to the chair's report. Very brief report tonight. First of all, thank you to Fran Collier-Clemens, our noble vice chair, for taking my stead as I wasn't able to make the meeting last month. So thank you, Fran, for keeping a steady hand on the rudder as we navigated the course. Second of all, I'd like to welcome Mr. Guest, our newest commissioner, and I believe this is his first Fair Rent Commission meeting. So welcome, Mr. Guest. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you have a great time. At some point in time, I'd like to connect with you, probably outside of the meeting, just to talk about the responsibilities of the Fair Rent Commission, what we do, and how our procedures work. But I really appreciate you joining, and I think this has long been one of the more cooperative and less contentious commissions that the city has, and that's something that I think we continue to strive to work towards. A very cooperative, and everybody has the best interests of Norwalkers at heart here. So we welcome you.
Thank you, John, and I look forward to the meeting with you.
Great. All right. And with that, I will turn it over to Carlos to lead our coordinators report.
Good evening, everyone. For my report, from the beginning of the year, I've been able to assist roughly about 80 people or 80 families. We've received already in March 10 fair rent complaints. We're only in the third month of the year, and we're already at the halfway point of the total amount of complaints we received last year.
Wow.
Wow.
There's a lot more traffic. My name is getting around, so people are reaching out with questions, concerns, and I'm trying to assist as best as possible. I'm also tracking a few housing committee bills, 143, Senate Bill 143, which expands protections to most tenants. House Bill 5242, which limits landlords' ability to use criminal history when deciding to rent to people. And House Bill 5146, which requires landlords to provide a 60-day notice of rental increases. And if they don't issue the notice in time and raise rents, they would be prohibited from issuing a notice to quit if tenants refuse to pay the rent. So I'm tracking those bills as they make their way out of the housing committee. Also, a few updates with regards to the COVID-19 housing relief assistance program. 24 families have been assisted, totaling about $90,000. So a lot of those applying for the relief are unfortunately undocumented residents, and since it's a federal program, they don't qualify. So we're trying to get the word out to see if more families can apply for it and get qualified, so we have less number of evictions out there.
So what are the qualifications?
It's a long list. You gotta be a resident of Norwalk since 2020. You had to be affected by COVID-19 financially, either loss of wages, loss of employment, and landlords need to provide a W-9. So one of the challenges that these organizations are facing is landlords are failing to provide a W-9. So I reached out to Margaret Sue, who's the Fair Housing Officer, about providing some information for landlords to provide a W-9, or if they fail to provide a W-9, if there was some sort of protection or the legality behind it, to see if they can't refuse to accept the assistance simply because they don't want to provide their tax information. And that's all I have for my report. Thank you.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand. You said that the landlords are not providing the W-9 forms because it includes their income information and they don't want that out there, so they're not providing it.
So a lot of landlords request payments made in cash, so they don't have to pay taxes on it. By providing a W-9, they're providing the Social Security number, and they will have to pay taxes on it. So they're trying to get around that requirement in order to avoid paying taxes.
Okay.
But isn't that income? I thought income, you gotta pay taxes.
Well, this is not income because they are landlords. It will be counted as additional income.
So can you email me that list?
Yes, I will do. Yes,
Oh,
Brenda.
okay, so
Could you provide that to all of the commissioners, please?
Sure, will do.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Carlos. That's really helpful information. And I think we knew that the floodgates would be opening at some point as certain COVID era restrictions on evictions and so forth were lifted, and as inflation continued to go up. So I recognize that you're under a tremendous amount of time constraint dealing with it all, but appreciate the existence of the fair rent team there at City Hall to support our the tenants in the city and helping them navigate this difficult environment.
Thank you.
We will move on to review and discussion of open cases, and I will scroll down to the open cases and turn it over to Russell Liskoff.
Good evening, everybody. Russell Liskov. The first case we have tonight is 1831-23, 8 Union Avenue. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $959.50 to $1,500. I spoke to the landlord on Friday of last week, and he is making a recommendation to his client to resolve the matter with a new lease. So at this point in time, I think next month this will go away completely, but for this month, I recommend that we take no action.
I move no action on, am I muted?
Nope, you're
No,
on.
we hear you.
We got
Oh,
you.
okay. All right, I move no action on 1831-23.
I
Sam
see.
second it.
Second.
I saw Brenda's hand first, so I'm giving Brenda the second. Thank you,
Aye.
thank you, Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you.
The next matter is 1837-23, 18 Ferris Avenue, Unit 11. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $700 to $1,000 a month. Good success in this one. A new lease was signed yesterday, and the complaint has been signed and withdrawn. So I would ask the staff, I would ask that we close this case.
I move for closing case 1837-23.
Sam second.
All right, I got Fran with the motion, Sam with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
The next matter is 1839-23, 6 Elm Street, first floor. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $1,000 a month to $1,900 a month. We had some negotiation back and forth, but doesn't look like it's going to resolve itself. The landlord wants a hearing. So on this one, I think we take no action this month, but we should. What is your pleasure for one of our first hearings coming up? Do you want to do it in April or do you want to do it in May?
I think if we can do it in April, let's do it in April.
Okay.
I would
Carlos,
like it.
Carlos, when does April's meeting hit? What's the date for it?
April 3rd. That's
April
less than
3rd.
30 days out.
All right, let's schedule it for May then. I would like, if possible, for it to be in person. I think that the hearing will go
yes.
much more smoothly if we're in person for it.
I agree with that.
Second.
Okay,
So move.
so we'll take no action tonight, and then Carlos will send out notice to the landlord and the tenant that there'll be a hearing. They'll give them the date for our May meeting, and it will be in person.
Well, my question is this. There is action being taken on this because we are scheduling a hearing date.
We already have voted to hear the case.
Oh, we have?
Yeah, we vote that
Yeah.
usually the first time it comes on the docket.
Oh,
And then
okay.
it's just a question of actually scheduling the hearing. We don't take an action in the meantime because we give the parties time to negotiate, but we can
Okay.
call a hearing at any time.
All right.
We've already agreed as a commission voted as a commission to hear it.
So, but we still should say, we're not taking the action, but we still need to have that we're gonna have a hearing.
I think that like I said, we've already voted to have a hearing on this case as a commission. So we don't need to vote again to have a hearing on the case. It's now up to the staff to schedule a hearing if the negotiations are petering out, which it sounds like they are.
Well, I think that is unclear because if someone comes in and looks at our minutes and it says, and they just look at this one, it says the staff recommends to take no action. And in the dialogue, it says we will schedule a hearing. They may not go back to when we voted to hear this case.
Okay.
So
Or
If
shouldn't
you'd
it,
like to motion to have a hearing, we can motion to
I
have a
agree
hearing.
with Fran, shouldn't it also put, that we voted on a hearing? Voted to hear? It should be in there.
I
It
think it should
should
be
be a
included.
part of the timeline.
I'd be fine including it with the timeline, but in this case, if you'd like to have a motion to hear the case, we could have a motion to hear the case.
You know what? Can I comment?
You may.
Now, the thing is, you are taking an action, and the action is that you have scheduled a hearing date because you didn't have a hearing date before. Now you have a hearing date of May.
And assuming that all the parties agree. Again, yeah, you can make that motion if you'd like to make that motion.
I was simply trying to clarify that.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
appreciate
Well,
it.
I think that's a good point. However, if the staff is recommending to take no action, I think, along with Brenda, that we still need to include that we have already voted to hear this case and are taking no action at this time. And it's already in there that we're going to schedule a hearing date. But it shows if somebody just picks up these minutes from the public and sees this particular case that they're interested in and sees that the staff recommends no action, but they having a hearing, well, what does that mean?
What if we say recommend
I got a
taking no action
question.
tonight, except to set a hearing for May?
Why can't we
Okay.
just reference somewhere on there of when the vote was taken to hear the case?
Well, here, and that's a point well taken. But, it says 2/21/24 spoke to tenant. We'll schedule a hearing date. We didn't even meet that day.
No, that was just that's Carlos's note, just that what we're doing. And the landlord wants a hearing. They don't want any more negotiation.
Okay.
Okay, so
So-
wait. I'm sorry. I just came into this and I was kind of being quiet and listening. If the landlord wants a hearing and if we're going to hear the case, why is the recommendation to take no action? Shouldn't the recommendation be staff recommends to hear the case and then we
We already
We
voted.
voted
We
to hear the
already
case.
voted.
That's what we're
We already voted to hear the
discussing,
case.
Sonia.
When did we vote to hear the case?
You voted back in the
Probably
very
in December.
beginning.
When?
Probably in the December meeting.
Okay, but
So-
it does not, even in the timeline under
does not say that.
1839, it does not include that. If it included that in the timeline, then we could do this action. But I just
So-
don't think that this has enough
Then we'll take a
information.
motion to hear the case. If you'd like to make a motion to hear the, I'm happy to take that motion.
I'll make a motion to hear the case.
Sam seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. We will hear the case. Carlos will schedule a hearing. Probably because it's more than 30 days out, the hearing will be in May. It will likely depend on the availability of the tenant and landlord as well.
So wait a minute. So
Yep.
it's 30 days after we recommend.
No, it's that they need notice. So the tenant and landlord need notice of the hearing date. And if we give them less than 30 days, they may feel like they don't have adequate notice to prepare.
Okay.
Okay, so we are setting the hearing for our May meeting.
I think Carlos needs to schedule it with the tenant and landlord because their presence is going to be necessary, but the goal is yes, the main meeting.
Okay.
And it'll probably also depend on availability of space at City Hall, et cetera, but yes.
Okay, the next case is 1840-24, 23.5 Barton Street, apartment one. Landlord wants to increase the rent from $1,350 a month to $1,600 a month. Negotiations are ongoing. We're recommending that you hear the case. I think this case is going to be settled for you next month. I think we have a number, just that one of the landlords was out of town, so he couldn't put the lease together in time. But this came in and we recommend that you hear the case.
I move that we hear 1841-24.
I'll second that.
All in
No,
favor?
no, 1840-24.
1840-24.
I'm
Motion from
sorry.
Fran. Yep.
I amend
I
my motion for 1840-24.
Thank
think
you.
we voted on this case last month, and that's a typo. Because we voted to hear it. But we want to vote today to not take any action because we're almost at the end of the negotiation stage.
I think, Carlos, one takeaway from this is we should add the commissioner's vote.
Right, right. I agree,
initial
I
vote to
agree with
hear
that.
To the timeline. That I think would also keep us all honest about what stage we're at in terms of status going forward.
Okay, so let me amend my recommendation then per Carlos's statement. I recommend we take no action. I think next month this case is gonna go away because they're on the cusp of signing a new lease with each other.
Hold on. Before we do that, let me just go back into the minutes of last month's meeting and see. That's 1840-24.
Yes.
So last month, Sonia made the motion to hear the case and we approved it. Okay.
Okay, well, I
Thank you.
rescind my motion to hear the case on 1840-24.
So I'll take a motion for no action.
I'll make a
I-
motion for no action.
Thank
I
you,
second.
Sonia.
Second.
I've got Fran with the second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Right, great, motion passes.
Okay, let the
On to new
games begin.
cases.
This is the new stuff and it is fast and flying and it is a lot of shrapnel in the air and Carlos has been extremely busy dealing with people. The first one is 1841-24, 39 Osborne Ave. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $23.50 a month to $39.50 a month for a two bedroom
Wow.
for a two family house. The tenant feels it's excessive. We've sent the
Our
they filed
mortgage
the-
is nowhere near that.
they filed the complaint. We've spoken to both people. We're close to an agreement on it. Negotiations are ongoing, but people are seeing the errors of their ways. So hopefully, we recommend that you hear the case. It clearly falls within your umbrella to hear that type of case.
I move to hear 1841-24.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Fran, for the
Oh.
motion, Sonia for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any abstentions? Or sorry, any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we will vote to hear this. We've voted to hear this case. Great.
Okay, the next one coming up is 1843-24, 213 Ely Ave, Unit 1. The landlord wants to increase rent from $1,100 a month to $2,500 a month for a two-bedroom apartment. The complaint has been filed. There's litigation ongoing, but it clearly meets the parameters of the Fair Rent Commission. We would recommend that you hear the case.
So wait a minute, hold up. Litigation ongoing?
Yep, they filed their complaint and then they got served with a notice to quit afterwards.
So what? I'm confused.
Yeah,
Me too.
The tenant
I'm
is hitting,
confused.
the tenant is
I'm really
hitting it from
confused.
all directions, basically.
right. They filed their fair rent complaint with us.
Uh-huh.
And the next day they were served with a notice to quit by the landlord.
So
That's-
how did the landlord know that they had filed a complaint?
They
He
did
didn't
not.
know they filed a complaint.
He did not know?
He did not
Nope.
know.
Oh, okay. It was just a coincidence.
It was
Oh,
not
there'd
retaliation.
be a lot of moving pieces to these puzzles.
Okay.
So because I'm asking the question, if it's litigation, can we get involved?
Yes.
Is the notice to quit related to failure to pay rent or is it related to something else?
Carlos, do you have it there? I think it was failure to pay rent.
Lapse of time.
It was
It's not
it was
related
lapse
to
of time
non-payment.
also.
It's not related to non-payment of rent, and they simply filed a complaint, and then the notice was filed after the complaint, so the notice to quit just falls on deaf ears.
Are they able to file a complaint if there's been lapse of time?
Well, the lapse of time was not filed, the notice of
No,
quit was not filed until after they had made a demand on the tenant to increase the rent.
Mhm.
And then they filed for lapse of time. I've had discussions with people up in Hartford on these type of things. Person who gives testimony frequently to the state, name is David, I don't remember his Podzel, I think his last name is. And I also spoke to another person in Hartford who does it. They thought that we should take the matter and recommend that we hear the case.
Right.
Good, okay, so who's gonna notify the court that we're doing this? Cause you can't do both. Both of them are hearings, so I think the court needs to know that we're doing this.
We've
And they
notified,
need,
we've notified the landlord of the situation. I don't think we have standing unless we move to intervene to notify the court about these type of things. The court doesn't really care unless we move to
They don't?
intervene. No.
are you sure about that? Well, then, and then it doesn't make sense. If the court doesn't care, then that means that this person can get evicted and we'll just be doing this for nothing.
Well, no, because they'll raise a defense in court. They'll raise a defense in court that it's retaliatory and there's a fair rent complaint pending.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. We need to notify the court that we have voted to hear the case because of the situation of increasing the rent.
We
they
can
hired
notify,
a
we can
lawyer-
notify the court, but it won't make the court do anything different or
Are you
anything less
sure about
different.
that?
Yeah,
Well, they hire a lawyer, and once the lawyer knows that the fair rent complaint was filed before they received the notice to quit, the lawyer will not pursue legal action through the court.
Right,
He will,
because it
he will
looks like
know to
retaliation.
stop
But
the
this
process.
just doesn't sound right to me. It does not sound right. I just want y'all to know that. It does not sound right.
I just put it there for informational purposes because they try to evict them after the fact that the fair rent complaint was filed.
Yeah, and like Fran said, it's retaliation.
Retaliation
Well,
that was made.
Well,
She just said that, and I see that too. However, I don't see why. Whatever, never mind.
I think it can only be retaliation if the landlord knew that they filed a fair rent complaint. But that'll get flushed out in the facts later. We just don't have enough information to make that determination.
Well,
All right.
That sounds
I
kind of
move-
weird.
Yeah.
I go along with Fran. They put in a complaint with fair rent, and then a couple days later,
A day later, 1 day later.
a day later,
the same day we notified them. But who knows the timing?
Well, the notification went out on the 28th via certified mail. I can
Right.
guarantee you pop it in certified
didn't
mail on
receive it.
28th, it didn't get delivered before the 28th. I know it seems strange and it's coincidental in time but I don't think we can jump to the conclusion that it was retaliatory until we know more facts.
Okay, well, I move that we definitely take your recommendation and hear this case.
I
Thank you.
second that.
Motion from Fran, second from Sonia, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, we're hearing this case too.
Okay, the next one coming up is from the same address, but a different apartment unit, 213 Ely Avenue, Unit 2. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $1,450 a month to $3,700 a month for a 3-bedroom
What?
apartment.
What?
Oh, what?
Are they nuts?
Is it a
Yeah,
new?
yeah.
What?
You got brand
new
new, you got
landlord.
brand new owners, you got brand new
Okay.
owners, and
Yep.
this is
Huh.
what happens sometimes.
Where do you live in New York?
Good, good.
So the landlord has been apprised of the fair rent complaint on all 4 of these matters coming up. They came in today, they met with Carlos for a while. We're gonna negotiate with them as to what a real rent is, but I recommend that you vote to hear this case because it's also within your bailiwick to do so.
I'll
so
make a
moved.
motion to hear the case.
I've got Brenda
Second.
first. Sorry,
I
Okay.
second.
yeah, I've got Brenda with the motion and the second. Okay, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Well, let me
Any
ask you this before we
Aye.
get to the next case, Russell.
Yes,
Does the owner own this next case too? Does he own this property too?
yes,
It's all the same property, just different units.
right.
Hey,
Sorry,
let them know we don't live in Manhattan.
I would just like to, I would just like to,
Evidently, this owner lives in Manhattan.
Why
So,
don't you,
let me ask a question.
why don't you reserve your judgments until they present you evidence
Yeah.
on it, and then you'll get to make your decisions if it gets
Could-
that far.
could we just
But
finish the vote
here's
on
the
hearing the
thing.
case?
We're
Wait, time out,
already gonna
Brenda.
be against.
I
Sorry.
wouldn't prejudge
I just want to finish
anything.
we had a motion to hear it, and I want to finish voting on the motion before we have the
I thought
discussion
we
on the next
did.
one. We voted in favor, but I didn't get a chance to say any opposed.
Oh, but
Any
Fran,
abstentions?
okay, I thought we did,
Now we'll
John.
move on. No, Fran asked a question in the middle of the vote.
Okay, and I'm asking a question too.
Go ahead. Yeah.
This guy, all of these are from the same landlord?
Yes,
Correct.
Oh my God, that,
So how many units we got?
you have 4 or 5.
We've dealt with situations where landlords raise the rents
Yep.
across.
yeah, but
many
not the
towns.
same landlord and everybody's doing a complaint at the same time. I've
We've had
never,
this
as long
before.
as I've been on this commission,
We have.
I've
No,
never
we had-
seen that,
We had
ever.
the one over on Richards Avenue where there were multiple at the same
Right,
time.
about to say Richards Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't vote to hear the cases on all of
Well,
them.
this might make
Oh my
it
God.
easier to resolve them. All right.
Okay. Fair
Uh,
enough.
1845.
The next one is 1845-24, 213 Ely Avenue. Unit number 6, the landlord wants to go from 1,300 a month to 1,800. Same fact pattern as 2 ago. The complaint came in on the 27th. The notice to quit was served on the 29th. And we recommend that you hear the case.
Motion to hear the case.
Got the motion from
Second.
Sonia and the second from, I got Brenda on the second. She raised her hand. Thank you, Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
We're
Motion
gonna be
passes.
busy.
We already are.
You're telling me. The next one is 1846-24, 213 Ely Avenue, Unit 3. The landlord wants to go from 1,350 a month to 3,700 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment.
Good
Once
God.
again, we recommend that you vote to hear the case.
Motion to hear the case.
Second,
Second.
Got Sonia with the motion, Brenda with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
so they
Any
he
opposed?
came in on the same day, Russ, is this guy from New York?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're from some part of Connecticut.
Okay,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes.
The next one is 1847-24, 213 Ely Avenue, Unit 4. The landlord wants to increase rent from $2,400 to $3,700 a month. Complaint was filed February 28th. Landlord, we'll deal with this landlord, but we recommend that you hear the case.
Motion to
move
hear the
that we-
case.
I second.
I've got Sonia with the motion, Fran with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
so
Any
when are
opposed?
we gonna hear all these cases?
You will
Any
hear them all
opposed?
at one time?
No.
Let me see if I can work my magic to get some negotiated leases to make everyone stay within the norms, okay? Give us a chance.
Any opposed?
Okay,
These just came in literally a week ago. So give us a chance.
Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. I'm going to
Okay.
ask all the
Yeah.
commissioners, time out. I'm going to ask all the commissioners when we're in the middle of a vote, even if everybody has said aye, we still need to go through the opposed abstentions. So please wait to ask your question. Either ask it before we take the vote, before we make the motion, or ask it after we've taken the vote and completed it. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
1848-24.
Next one is 1848-24, 44 Plymouth Avenue, Unit number 1. The landlord wants to increase the rent from $1,700 a month to $2,200 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. The complaint was filed at the end of February. We've reached out to the landlord. We started negotiations. We recommend that you hear this case. Vote to hear the
Motion to hear the
case.
case.
Sam
Okay.
second.
I've got Sonia with the motion. I've got Sam with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you.
The next case is 1849-24, 12 Narrowmake Avenue, Unit B. Landlord wants to increase the rent from 3,200 to 3,800 for a 4-bedroom house. This just came in, but it makes sense. It falls within your jurisdiction, and we would recommend that you vote to hear the case.
Motion to hear the case.
Second.
Got Sonia with the motion, Brenda with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay,
The next matter is 1827-24R. This is a little bit of a twist. The tenant is claiming retaliation on a matter that was resolved by us where they entered into a new lease, filed a complaint making certain allegations. You do have jurisdiction to hear this case, so we recommend that you vote to hear the case.
I vote to
Okay.
hear.
wait, before we have a vote to hear, I'd like to have some discussion about this. In my experience, retaliatory complaints are very difficult to resolve through negotiation.
I agree.
So, and my sense also is that a retaliation complaint is something that is calling the previous resolution reached in part by the Fair Rent Commission into question, right? That it's if a
I don't
If a
think he's-
landlord
I
is-
don't think he's doing it. I've read what his allegations are. I don't think he's calling it into
okay,
a wrong resolution. He's saying that the landlord breached their duty to them under their lease to do certain things. And the reason why they did that was because he
because they were
filed a
mad
fair
about
rent
it.
complaint.
So in any event, I think typically I think that it's difficult to resolve through negotiation. So I think it's likely to go to a hearing. B, I think that the sooner we hear it, the better. Given the nature of a retaliatory scenario, right? If you're a tenant under feeling like you're being retaliated against, I just think the sooner that it gets resolved, the better for all the parties involved.
I make the
Um,
motion to hear the case.
Second.
I've got a motion from Sonia. I've got a second from Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
When do you think you'll want this heard?
So that is my question. Would it be possible, understanding that this is not,
John, you didn't follow your rule.
I know, understanding that it's not, that it's within 30 days, would it be possible to try to schedule it for April, or is that too fast?
We can ask. You don't ask, you don't get. So if we ask and they say yes, if they ask and they say yes, we're good to go.
I think it would be useful to have it in April, honestly. Does anyone on the commission have a problem with that? I can't imagine that that if we spend months negotiating it, we're gonna get anywhere with it. Obviously, we haven't tried yet, but I just don't see, you don't resolve a complaint of retaliation that easily. So I think we should try to have it in April if we can.
So are we gonna finish that last motion and then
I was
we,
getting ready to say the same thing.
and then vote on whether we should have it in April or not?
No, we finished the motion. We had the motion, didn't we? No?
We had a
No,
motion, but
you
you
did
didn't
not
go.
finish, John.
All right.
We
All
didn't
in
finish
favor?
it. Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Fine.
Okay, Carlos, did you receive Sissy's email stating that she would not be here?
Yes, she let me know.
He said, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
I mean-
now, John, do you need a motion? Or we just schedule it for next month and see if it can be scheduled?
Well, I think we try to schedule it for we've had the conversation. The staff will schedule it. Carlos will try to schedule it at the
Okay.
convenience of all the parties involved. But I think trying to do it for next month is the just, I don't know that having months of negotiation will solve anything in this case. So I think getting it on the calendar as soon as possible would be helpful.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is old business. We have no current old business. Next
I
item
think-
on the, Yep.
I think that what we possibly, well, it's not old, but it's something that we did in between our last meeting and this meeting. And I want to thank Carlos for informing us of the webinar on the Fair Rent Commission at the state level by the senator from wherever she's from. It was very informative and very helpful to me personally. Thank you, Carlos.
Oh, well,
Thank you.
I didn't get I got the text, the email late, so that's why I wasn't on there. John, I want to tell you that Sissy did it again. She's on the call late. She just finished another another meeting, so she's on the call.
so she's joined at about 8:12. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Do we have any new business? Hearing none, I will take a motion.
Wait a
I
minute.
move to
Are we gonna do our annual lunch and dinner or what?
I would like to.
I would like to also.
We should schedule it for June and we should collect in advance.
Yes.
Would y'all like to do the same thing or what?
If
I
possible.
enjoyed that place.
Me too.
Where was it? I missed it.
It was Pinstripes. It was during their brunch.
So it
The
was,
Sunday, it was a Sunday brunch.
it was,
Yeah, it was done.
okay, yeah, I heard they have a very good brunch.
They have an excellent
Yeah,
brunch.
they did.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Would you like for me to set
Oh,
it up?
wait, no, I'm sorry, wait. Yeah, I think I think that was the place that she said had a good brunch.
Well,
It was
whether
on
they
top of
said it or
Sona.
not, we were there and it is very good.
And it's served buffet style or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brenda,
on the
yes,
top of the mall.
if you could set it up, we probably, could you work with Carlos to just get a surveys? Because we don't want to be in a situation where we don't get a significant proportion of the commissioners able to attend.
Right, okay. Okay. They have brunch, I would have to do it, if I'm gonna do it, and Carlos will get together. It's gotta be Sunday, June 9th.
Oh,
Okay, I'll be out of town, the 2nd, June 2nd. Now I can still do it and not be here.
But why don't we circulate it and see who's available then?
Okay,
All right. Now I'll take a motion.
I have
Oh,
one
sorry.
question.
Yeah,
If
go
we
ahead.
have if we have a hearing in April, is that going to be in person?
If possible.
Okay.
so we said at one of the meetings, all the hearings would be in person. Isn't that
That's
what
what I
we
would like.
said?
That's the goal.
Yeah, I thought that was said, yeah.
I will have to schedule with the city about the availability of common council chambers for our meetings.
Or if you don't get the common council chambers, it's the old Board of Ed room too, 300, A300.
I'll take a look at that one too, Brenda.
Okay,
I move for adjournment.
Second,
All right, motion from Fran, second from Sonia, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
We'll
Good
night.
we'll
Say
dig
aye,
in.
Sissy.
All right. Bye
Good
now.
night, everyone.
Thanks,
Say
everybody.
aye, Sissy.
Hi, Sissy. Bye, Sissy.
All right, good seeing
Good
everyone.
Good
evening.
night.
Good night. Bye.